Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, where today we're going to figure out who has the better transports. Historians still have no idea how two unescorted convoys of each 15 transport ships happened to come across each other at 1,000 meter range. But it's happening, and well, we're about to see what is going to work out better, the Japanese transports or the United States transports. I will not be able to design a ship. As you can see, I'm not capable of designing a ship the bottom's grayed out, because it's not one of the configurable hulls. So all I can do is hit quick start and let the AI design everything. And then we're going to see what exactly this mayhem is going to look like. I probably cannot even control any of the ships manually, because the transports are, well, at least in this current version of the game, Alpha 5 version 7.1, they're all going to be controlled by the AI. I have 4 groups of transports, 4, 4, 4, and 3. And not all of them are armed, I think. But some of these do pack a couple of 4-inch guns, like the Yugiri. These Yugiri armament is being propelled by a Cordite 2. And they're already packing away at the lead warship here. Now, it's this transport convoy versus that one, and what I just really hope is going to happen is that these guys do not run from each other. But knowing that these transports are pretty damn bad at turning away, I am... Oh, there goes the Yugiri. I'm not holding my breath on how quickly these guys are capable of running away anyway. Alright, so the Americans get first blood, and it looks like they're also going to get second blood on the Hyen. The Hamilton has taken a little scratch. The Thornton is in worse condition. But overall, holy shit, what are you subjecting me to? Rapid 2-inch guns with a reload of just 3 seconds. The Hamilton is quickly wrecking the other transport. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 turrets on this one transport. And whereas normally 2-inch guns are really negligible, once you get to about 100 meter range, these very fast firing little guns are just tearing the Japanese transports to shreds. The Thornton has 4-inch guns. With the Ramage over here, no armament. Not all of these transports are carrying arms. So maybe that's going to be the salvation of these Japanese transports. Although some of these too are not armed, and yeah, this is what I was already worried about. They're starting to run. Oh, you had to, didn't you? You just had to run. This is so sad about the game. I would love to see these transports fight it out to the last ship. But it's just not possible. Not if they run away. So what we're seeing right here, it's just a couple of the US transports. I'm not even sure where the others are. Yeah, they haven't been spotted yet, because the spotting capability of these ships is dreadful. The Wakizakura is now taken on the Hamilton. Hamilton's still tearing it to shreds with those rapid 2-inch guns. The 3-inchers from the Wakazura desperately trying to fight back and inflicting some damage against the Hamilton, but really not quickly enough. The Japanese effectively already lost 2 of their armed transports, and they're about to lose a 3rd by the looks of it, because the Wakazura is not going to survive this encounter for very long. There's a lot of fire coming in from this area. Let's see, how many transports are still willing to fight, or how many can fight? Not a lot. Yeah, we got another 3-inch gun here on the Shimane. What's this? The Asagiri is armed. The Hiryu is armed. Fuyo. I think that's the extent of it. So about half of the transports are armed. Let's see what happens if I just times 3 this thing. Yeah. The Wakazakura. Flooding all over the ship. All engines are damaged. Flooding. This is going to be the third transport that the US transport ships sink. And so far, the Japanese don't really have anything to show for it. Although the Hamilton and the Thornton have taken severe damage, they're still very much, well, I'm hesitant to say combat capable, but they're shooting, so I suppose they are combat capable. Hamilton getting quite close now. It is flooding, but only just. Let's see, are these transports built with bulkheads? Yeah, maximum bulkheads, few bulkheads. Now I'm really curious to see what happens here. Are the American transports going to try and fall back? Or are they actually going to chase down the surviving Japanese transports? At this point, Wakazakura is still trying to defeat the Hamilton, and it might just live long enough to get that done. Look at this. What a weird encounter. This is what's left of the Wakazakura. It's still fighting, but if you tell me this ship is sinking, I'd have just as easily believed you. And yeah, it is. The Hamilton, however, might not be able to control the flooding. And no, she is. 0.3%. And it's not dropping. But come on. If the Japanese would just not run away and actually fight these guys. Come on. Shimane is trying to fall back behind the Obami. Yeah, all these transports are trying to fall back. Oh, if only I could control these guys manually. That would make for much, much more fun. The Hamilton is still very much at risk of sinking. Its cargo seems to be water at this point. Just a lot of it. Finally. Finally, the first American cargo ship goes down. And now I think we're just going to go off and disengage. Now, I've tried to do this scenario a couple of different ways. This is really the only way that I've found it to actually work. Just pretty much spawning these two convoys right on top of each other. And hoping that they actually engage each other. Which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. In this case, it looks like the Japanese transports are heading away at their best speed of 14, 15 knots. So they're definitely not interested in fighting. And the American group... Oh, the American group is definitely not done yet. The DuPont over here. There's a couple of 4-inch turrets. 4 4-inch turrets, in fact. And is currently trying, successfully I think, to inflict damage on the Asadori. Which has taken on a load of water. 2 engines are damaged. Yep, ship's flooding. This one's gonna go to the Americans. And there we go. I completely lost sight of the battle. Alright, let's try that again. If I restart the battle, I might get a different position. I just want to see if I can get these convoys to sort of be at each other's throats. Oh, like that. Like that. How exactly this happened, let's not go into that. But this could be a really interesting war. A little transport fight here. Interestingly, the Yeyama and the Uji are not actually targeting the lead ship. They're targeting the second one. Now, so far... Yeah, it's not firing. The lead merchantman is not armed. This one... isn't... No, actually is. That's potentially a 4-inch turret on the stern. And a 4-inch turret on the bow. And over here... Yep, this one's definitely firing as well. Looks like smaller armament. 2 or 3-inch, I think. Ship is flooding. Now these guys are trying to break formation and fall away from their group. But by doing so, they're actually charging... Well, maybe charging is a bit of an overstatement, but... Let's say that they're actually moving into my group at 3.7 knots. So Maybe not really charging as such. Casa, severe damage. Kurishio, severe damage. How is it that the Japanese are once again getting their asses handed to them by the Americans? Does the game actually just randomly generate these? Or are certain, let's say, national rules being taken into account? Were American ships just better built? Or were they more heavily armed? This one's packing the 4-inch. The Forrest Sherman is packing 3-inch. Woodbury definitely is not sticking around for this fight. But on its way out, it's about to round the Paul Jones, which is trying to fight with a 1 4-inch. Actually, just 1 4-inch that's currently firing. No, 2 4-inches that are firing. Amidships and on the aft. Come on, you gotta be able to sink at least one. Forrest Sherman, Bryant, Charles R. Ware. Well, looks like the supplies from the Mikaho are gonna go under very quick. The Yoko might still be able to do some damage against the Forrest Sherman. Although she better be quick about it before she gets destroyed. Ships on fire in various locations. The Forrest Sherman is actually doing quite alright. I wonder what works better in this scenario. Having bigger guns or just a lot smaller ones? Now we still have a couple of ships which are capable of fighting. Let me introduce you to Yamato. Yamato as you've never seen her. Just a transport. Hatsuharu, Kagi, and Oboro. None of these are armed, with the exception of Yamato. Over here we got the Momo, who's not armed. Kasa unarmed. Shigure. Kiso is armed. Yeah, it's just every 1 in 4 transports, it seems, that's actually capable of defending itself. Well, at least now we know. Uji. I'm not sure if it's falling back or attacking. It's moving at a speed of 5 knots. And it's trying to bring the 3-inch guns to bear on the Forrest Sherman. Which is definitely taking the brunt of it, but just refuses to sink. Displacement of the Forrest Sherman is 17,400 tons versus the 17,800 on the Uji. Duking it out, 3-inch versus 3-inch. But the Fuji... Sorry, the Uji is also taking fire from the Bryant. And that really puts her at a disadvantage, I'm afraid. So far, no flood. There we go, there's the flooding. Looks like I don't even have to say it anymore. I just have to think it and I start jinxing my own ships. Forrest Sherman, still alive. 35% structural integrity, 50%... it's going down. It is going down. The buoyancy is going back to 45%, 43%, 40%. Uji is not far behind at almost 45 and bouncing up and down. Uji has maximum bulkheads, but so does the Forrest Sherman. They're all just tearing each other apart, albeit slowly. Casa and Momsen very close. Maybe they're angrily shouting insults at each other, because aside from that, I don't think they carry any sort of armament. Maybe handguns of some sort, but those don't actually count. Ammo detonation on the Yeyama, but at least it's fighting. It's trying to assist with the sinking of the Forrest Sherman. And the Forrest Sherman is just... This thing is very tough for a transport. Or I'm not attacking it... Well, I am. The AI is not attacking it from the right angle. I don't exactly know what's going on here. But come on, this really could have been done better. The Forrest Sherman should already be gone. Especially considering that it's still firing away with... But I think still all of the 3-inch guns. There goes the Eyama. That was one of the armed transports. Uji, still here, currently dead in the water, maneuvering at 0.2 knots. Once again goes on the attack against the Force Sherman, and there, finally, the Force Sherman sinks. Now it looks like over here in the back, there's a little skirmish going on as well. The Kiso, one of the armed transports, is using a 3-inch gun on the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr., which has taken some damage, but is firing back with a 4-inch. And the 19,800 tons of the Kiso might soon be slipping beneath the waves as the ship is flooding, on fire, lost all propulsion. And, well, just about the only thing that it can do is just continue to fire. Trying to get rid of the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr., as that one is armed. The Shibure and the Owari are not. So they can only sit back and hope that they don't get targeted next. But, well, of course they will be. Next up is Yamato. Yamato actually is running a bit low on shells. Only 244 left. It is also trying to go after the Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. But with a 3-inch, it apparently doesn't feel too convinced about its own accuracy. And it's not firing. Guys. Doesn't look like they're actually taking damage. But they are presenting themselves as a pretty easy target. Although, the Bryant has run out of ammo. Of all the things that could have happened, the Bryant ran out of ammo. Oh, lovely. The Augusta is running off. We got the Paul Jones, which still has 174 shells left. It's also running off, firing its guns pretty valiantly as it's backing off. Thomas E. Fraser, engaging with 2-inch guns. Right there, close to the funnel. They are actually doing damage against the Yamato. I think they might be able to get away with sinking the Yamato. But I don't believe the Yamato is just being engaged by those 2-inchers. It's not the Exchange, but it is the Kennedy Jr., which is still trying to sink the Yamato with those 4-inch guns. And this one is not going to run out of ammo anytime soon. Although I am wondering where it's getting all that ammunition from, because this counter is not going down. 568, 567. It's intermittently updating. When I slow the game down, this counter updates. 552. There you go. The game is not cheating me. It is actually using ammo. Well, sort of. Anyway, there's not a whole lot left of the Japanese transports. If the Kagi and the Oboro, which are trying to run away, that's about the only 2 ships. Oh, sorry, the only 3 ships, including the Hatsuharu, which are still healthy. The Yamato is definitely not going to be joining that group. And it looks like the Momo and the Kasa, they're still colliding. They're still being pretty loud about it too. I'm not even sure where the Momo is trying to go. Are you actually gaining speed now? 1.4. Well, they're no longer stuck. The Kasa even has propulsion, although it's not using it. There. 1.4, 1.5. Momo is doing a full 2 knots out of its 14.5, but then again, it's an 18,100 ton transport, so it's probably going to take a while before this thing actually speeds up. Anyway, I suppose we can conclude that the Americans are actually going to win this fight yet again. They've already taken 2 of these transport convoys down. I'm going to do it one more time and see if they can actually get one better on them. The Japanese, that is. Let's see, what's the orientation? Oh, this time we're trailing the American convoy. I don't think that that's very good. No, actually. Oh, it's a battle line of transports. So not really a battle line per se. We have a warship over here. Quite clearly not a warship. But it is fighting this transport. Identification is proceeding quickly. The Gizo very bravely tries to just, well, I guess survive. I'm not going to say charge into the enemy group, because that's not what it's doing. But it is the lead ship, and that's not an enviable position, especially considering it is not armed. This time around, the Tucker, lead transport with 4-inch guns and a load of ammo, is gonna go down pretty quick. Who is doing that to her? The Issei, Takanami, Murokomo. Yeah, we got quite a few shooters here. And I would happily get rid of those 4-inchers pretty damn soon, because the longer those things are alive, the more damage my transports will take. Ringgold, unarmed. Wilkes, however, is armed. And it's using the 3-inch to go after the Yizo, which is that lead ship that I just discussed. Tucker, many bulkheads, and they're sealing them right about now, I think. Another ammo detonation on the ship. Look at this. 139 hits. The ship has been hit, well, I guess everywhere. Look at that. All these impacts, and they're continuously building up. There's another 20 hits on the ship. 23, 24, 25, 26, it just keeps ramping up. And yet, the Tucker refuses to sink. Although the damage control parties might not be able to hold on to this for much longer, because pretty much the whole ship's burning up now. And yet, the 4-inch guns are still firing, albeit with less accuracy, because of the damage instability that this transport has suffered. Compare that to the damage on the Issei, which is relatively light, but the 3-inch is capable of firing back at 51% accuracy. Versus the 15% accuracy on the 4-inch. Let's see, the Gizo's trying to head away, so does the Otago. What are the Americans doing? Nothing much, but there is something over here that's shooting me. That I haven't even spotted yet. There we go. This time it's first blood to the Japanese. Courtesy of killing off the Tucker. Once again, a collision in the convoy. Takanami and Issei currently working over the Wilkes. Why exactly the AI just picked this ship? I don't exactly know. Maybe because it's the only one that looks like it's armed over here. So maybe the AI prioritizes that as a threat. Because the Ringgold is unarmed. And I guess has a lower threat priority or something. A lower threat profile, perhaps. Now, as long as I can take out these transports, or well, let the AI take out the transports which are armed, one by one, maybe this time around the Japanese can sink a few more ships. Murakumo with a 3-inch gun, trying to fight off against the Wilkes, getting a lot of support from the other transports. The Takanami, the Issei, not the Momi, but definitely from the Unebi, which is firing a 4-inch gun. And the hits are ramping up again. 64 hits, 65, 66. Keeps going. They're using nothing less than high TNT propellant, which I think is a, well, fairly advanced propellant for a bunch of transports. But I'm sure you guys in the comment section will definitely be telling me what sort of propellant merchant ships we're using for their guns. 125 hits on the Wilkes so far. 1100 damage. Come on, take it down. The exchange is also coming in, and that one is armed. What is it engaging? Can I see? It's firing directly ahead. Probably at the Takanami. Let's see, can we get rid of the Wilkes? We got rid of the Wilkes. Okay, good work. Now the exchange. Yep, they definitely prioritize the exchange now. Again, an armed merchantman. Look at just how quickly that fire spreads. Few bulkheads. Flooding in fire. Structural goes down. Buoyancy goes down. Another 110 hits, and it's still not enough. But that looks like the end of it. There we go. Okay, who are you going for next? The Murakumo has stopped firing? The Unebi, however, has not. And they're now trying to take care of, of another armed transport, the Duncan. So that is the prioritization that the AI uses. Is it armed? If yes, then shoot. Because at this range, for example, the Murakumo, it only has a few shells left, only 86, but I suppose it could still sink the Leonard F. Mason. It just chooses not to. Because there are bigger fish to fry, including the Duncan. Is that the only armed transport that I can currently see? Yeah, it looks like it. Duncan is firing back with a couple of 4-inch. 1, 2. None on the wings here? Yeah, just the 3 turrets. Taking hit after hit. Many bulkheads though on the Duncan. So it might take a little bit longer for this ship to actually go down. Let's just put this to normal speed to show you what that looks like. Oh, sorry, this is normal speed. I was thinking that's a lot of shells coming in. Yeah, it's normal. This is actually what's happening. The amount of shells that are coming in here. And again, I think I say this every video, but the game really does look fantastic. And I hope you agree with me on that. What exactly the minimum requirements are for the game, I don't know. But I'm sure you can find out on the website, which is linked down below in the description. Now, I think the Japanese are going to sink the Duncan. But that after that, the merchantman just might refuse to shoot at, for example, the Ringgold and the Mason. It is a theory I want to test. So I'm hoping that the Duncan is willing to sink pretty fast, so that my ships still have some ammo left. Otherwise, I won't really have the ammo to test out that theory. Yeah, see, the Murakumo is still trying to go for the Duncan, but it just refuses to fire. And it does have guns in position to fire, so it's not that the guns have been destroyed. I can still see them there and there. There is an indicator here that's red, though. Is that the port gun, maybe? Starboard gun looks alright. Well, it could be an explanation that both of the guns were destroyed. Oh well. Anyway, the Duncan. Still taking hits. For a second there I was worried that my ships were out of ammo. But no, they're not. Takanami still has 386 shells left. The Unebi has 922. But might not live long enough to be able to use them. And even if it does live long enough, there might not be targets in range for those 4-inch guns. Duncan's now down to 14%. Agerholm might be coming alongside to pick up survivors. If that was a thing in this game. Oh. Hold up. Yep, okay. Theory confirmed. When there is nothing to shoot at that actually is presented higher as a threat than an unarmed transport, the ships will fire at the unarmed transport. So it looks like the AI does prioritize armed transports, as they are a bigger threat to the rest of the group. Because even now the Murakumo, with its 3-inch guns, which apparently have not been destroyed, is engaging the Ringgold. Right. A couple of good hits, but damn, these transports take a lot of hits from these smaller guns. A lot of hits. Oh, and that must be the Duncan again? What's the weather like? It is cloudy. Accuracy is being reduced. But seemingly the ship over here can still shoot me. Next is going to be the Mason. There you are. Hello, Duncan. Does the ship now reprioritize? No, it does not. Takanami does not... No, hold on. Something else just did. Another ship is now going after the Duncan. I'm just not sure which one. There we go. Takanami has switched. The Marakumo is out of ammo. They did sink the Ringgold, but the Mason is still afloat. Yeah, the Duncan has to be sunk first before the AI is willing to open up fire on the Mason again. And in the meanwhile, all these ships are crashing into each other. Right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I have tested what I wanted to test, namely how does AI respond when you toss 2 convoys at a range of 1,000 meters together. A couple of them are armed, a couple of them are not. Some are armed with 2-inch, 3-inch or 4-inch. Bulkheads vary as well. And the AI does prioritize ships which it considers a threat. So anything that has a gun, anything that has armament and that can hurt your transport is considered a threat. The other ones are definitely not. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you have something else that you want me to test or try out in this game as a funny experiment, then by all means let me know down below in the comments. And if I think it is interesting to test, then I will definitely test it. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and I shall see you guys soon for another video.